Turning now to the landmark legal case against former President Donald Trump after he was indicted on charges related to a hush money scheme. He told followers on social media last night that he's flying to New York today and he's going to show up for his arraignment tomorrow. He's also been trying to stir up anger at the judge and others in the case. So Robert Costa is just outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan. Robert, good morning.
Good morning, Anne Marie. We will not know what exactly is in this indictment until it is unsealed tomorrow, but former President Trump and Republicans are already on the attack.
He's gearing up for a battle.
Former President Trump and his legal team are preparing to fight what his lawyer Joe Tacopina is calling a political persecution.
Of course, I very much anticipate a motion to dismiss coming because there's no law that fits this.
The former president is expected to appear in court on Tuesday afternoon, escorted by NYPD officers and Secret Service agents. There, CBS News senior legal analyst Ricky Kleeman says he'll be processed like any other defendant.
He will have his picture taken, which becomes a mugshot. He will have his fingerprints taken electronically, like any other defendant at this point in time.
The indictment remains sealed, but a source familiar tells CBS News that Trump will likely be charged with falsifying business records in the first degree, a felony stemming from his alleged role in hush money paid to adult film star Stormy Daniels back in 2016.
I should not be held accountable for Donald Trump's dirty deeds.
Michael Cohen, a key witness for the prosecution, alleges Trump directed him to make the payments to Daniels. Cohen has served time in prison, partly for his role in that exchange. In an interview with CBS News, he says this investigation goes beyond his word.
Let the documents and the evidence speak for itself.
For weeks, Trump has gone on the offensive, going after Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg and now the judge assigned to the case. Trump wrote on his social media site Friday, Judge Juan Merchan hates me. Republicans came to Trump's defense this weekend, including potential competitors in the 2024 race.
They're trying to do all these legal gymnastics to try to act like it's a felony. He has an agenda. That is not the rule of law.
But not all GOP rivals are voicing support. Former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson announced on Sunday he's running for president and thinks Trump should get out of the race.
The office is more important than any individual person. And so for the sake of the office of the presidency, I do think that's too much of a sideshow and distraction.
After Trump is arraigned on Tuesday, he will head back to Florida, where he plans to speak to reporters at Mar-a-Lago, all while his own attorneys continue to keep close tabs on what's happening with other investigations of Trump on the federal level, including the investigation of January 6th by the special counsel and the special counsel investigation of Trump's handling of classified records. Anne Marie?
So, Robert, I imagine that Donald Trump probably wants to get as much attention as possible during this process. I imagine authorities would like the opposite to happen. Do we know how public this whole arraignment and this process will be?
It's very much to be determined at this moment, Anne Marie. Right here outside of the Manhattan Criminal Courthouse, there are metal barricades up and there's a heavy police presence, and there's an expectation that reporters will not necessarily be able to see former President Trump duck into the courthouse on Tuesday. But in Lower Manhattan, it's hard to hide anything, whether they film Law and Order or films down here or a former president arriving for processing. This is a tight area, and so we expect to see the motorcade when it arrives. But still to be determined whether there's a negotiation between Trump and his lawyers about what exactly comes out to the public in terms of the mugshot and other information.
So we saw in your story that you sat down with Michael Cohen to talk to him about the case. I want to play some more of that sound. Some of it we already heard in your story, but I want to sort of play the rest of what he says.
I should not be held accountable for Donald Trump's dirty deeds. Let him be held accountable. Let those in his orbit that are truly accountable, like Bill Barr, right, who he used to weaponize the Justice Department against his critics. Let them be held accountable because it saves and it preserves democracy.
Are you ready to testify?
Yes.
So, you know, since we talked last, we sort of have started to hear that there may be other charges that the former president is facing. Is Mr. Cohen at the center of this indictment still? He seemed to have been for a long time. The talk was is essentially the main person that's going to testify.
He is certainly one of the key witnesses. What we've learned in recent days, Anne Marie, is that this indictment could be sprawling in scope in terms of the different alleged examples of former President Trump engaging in what was once called a catch and kill operation to prevent unsavory stories from being published. And the Stormy Daniels payment Cohen says he made, that is, we expect to be part of the indictment, but there could be other examples of Trump and his orbit trying to contain things during that 2016 campaign. And the indictment could look at how those things were expensed on the Trump Organization expense report. And so what we're seeing, though, is a district attorney in Alvin Bragg looking at all of this from 2016, a culture around Trump, and using Michael Cohen as a key witness to explain how Trump made decisions and how allies of Trump like David Pecker, the former publisher of the National Enquirer, worked with Trump and Michael Cohen to expense certain things to keep them out of the limelight.
All right, Robert Costa, thank you very much.